Hey everybody, Zeal Brothers here once again when I make another video. This one is going to be about the sexual assault case in Loudoun County. Now, in this county, this is the story that some of you guys have already heard about, where somebody said they were transgender and they attacked and sexually assaulted a female at a high school, and the school tried to hide it. And I want to pose this question, and it's going to be provocative, but it's just a good question. Are our public institutions predisposed to hide sexual assaults of people of alternative lifestyles? And the reason I ask this question is because breaking news in the last couple of days has been about the Blackhawks. Now, for you guys who don't know, Blackhawks are the Chicago hockey team. And when they were winning their championship, the same year they won their championship, there was a reported sexual assault by one of the members of the team to one of the youngest hockey players. Now, I read the details of the report, and I have to admit to you, it's hard for me to see how everything that happened couldn't have been somewhat consensual. But it was a homosexual assault. Two men with each other. And in this case, we have somebody who is claiming to be transgender who assaulted someone. And one of the things that people have not addressed when we talk about sexual immorality and we talk about so-called alternative lifestyles and all these things, one of the things that people have not addressed is, what does changing, let me put it this way, what does a non-normative sexual appetite produce in you? What kind of psychology do you have? Let me put it another way. Oftentimes when people talk about gay men, they talk about gay men in a sense that gay men are completely harmless and nothing to be afraid of and nothing to be concerned about because they're like men except they're not, right? They're women in men's bodies. That's a lot of times what people will say. There's nothing aggressive, nothing about it. But those of us men who have actually been, those men who have been, how should I say, men that they have targeted, right? They want to go out with you. They want to hit on you, all those things. You'll notice that these men are still men. And one thing about men in a sexual situation, in a social situation, that men are aggressors. And a lot of times society has pushed the idea that that is not the case in homosexual communities, and that is false. If a homosexual is still a man, he's still going to have that aggressive mentality. He's just going to aim that aggressive mentality at men. One of the things that people often overlook is when you look at different sexual, let's just say this, when you have a situation where you try to make someone with an alternative lifestyle comfortable and normalize it, you have to fool yourself about a lot of different things. One of the things you have to fool yourself is that men are not aggressors. Another thing you have to fool yourself is that women, especially in lesbian relationships, that they can't be violent, and that's not the case. Another situation that people will fool themselves is they'll say because of people's thoughts about immorality when it comes to these relationships, that causes psychological damage. Instead of thinking of it the other way around, could it not be that it's not the cause, but it's simply correlated, right? In other words, are you, as somebody who has chosen a style, let's just say this, you've chosen a lifestyle that's not normal. You've chosen a lifestyle that does not help the species. Could that not be connected sometimes to some psychosis? In other words, when you choose a lifestyle that does not go with the way that God designed you to propagate the species, you already are choosing a lifestyle that goes against your own mentality, and that's going to hurt you. And the reason it's going to hurt you is because a lot of times when you look at homosexual relationships, when you look at transgender people, when you look at lesbians, a lot of times there's a lot of pretending that's going on. And what I mean by pretending is this. A lot of gay men will come and they'll talk, say, and anyways, I was like, okay. Now, the reason that I can act gay is because it's just that, an act. And a lot of times people are not truly acting the way that they really are inside. And I don't mean that in the sense that somebody is gay and in the closet, but I mean it the other way. I mean that people have already presupposed in their mind that there's an image of a gay man, and I'm going to be that if I'm going to be gay. If I'm gay, I'm going to be flamboyant. If I'm gay, I'm going to be in the fashion. If I'm gay, I'm going to be in the arts. If I'm gay, I'm going to be a prissy man. And in reality, if that lifestyle was completely as normal as everybody says it is, that wouldn't be. You would have such a vast array of personalities and ways of approaching that lifestyle that you wouldn't be able to fit it into such a narrow scope. And a lot of times when you look at these relationships, it is mimicking a heterosexual relationship. Things like a lesbian using a strap-on penis. It kind of makes me doubt that these women don't like men. And the reason I say that is because in their sexual experiences, they're constantly simulating a penis. And you have to ask yourself, how do you do that? How do you do that, but then say you like women? If you like women, wouldn't you like women for just what women do? So why do you need to be stimulated in a way that only a man can stimulate you? Or in a way that you pretend that a man is stimulating you? The same with a homosexual, right? Why would you have to be stimulated in a way that simulates a vagina? A lot of times what we are doing is we are lying to ourselves. And because we've lied to ourselves, just like any lie, you have to keep lying to keep a lie going. And so we will lie to ourselves and we'll say, there's nothing wrong with a man who wears a skirt calling himself a woman. In fact, we will make it such a rule that if you call a man who dresses in a skirt, who calls himself a woman, a man, you can get banned because you've misgendered that man by calling him a man. He didn't misgender himself. No, you misgendered. And look at how the accusation gets switched, because it makes no sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. If I'm looking at somebody who has an X and a Y chromosome and I'm calling them male, somebody will look at me and call me a bigot. Does that make any sense? And it doesn't make sense to say, I know some guys when I was younger who would do anything to get into a female locker room. And I know some guys when I was younger, and I know some guys even now, that if they were in that situation, they would be tempted to do some horrible things, and they would do horrible things because they will be somewhere they shouldn't be. And what we've done is we've created situations where somebody with the worst intentions can take advantage of the lies that we've told ourselves. They can get into situations they shouldn't be. They can attack people that shouldn't be victims and victimize them. And when we create all these lies and this web of lies comes tumbling down, what do? We lie about it. Because if we don't keep the lie going, the whole house of cards falls. That's why one of the worst sins is lying. But I think when people think about lying, they always think about lying to somebody else. But I think one of the worst lies you can do is lying to yourself. Refusing to be honest. Refusing to accept reality. Reality as you truly know it. Now on this channel, we're going to accept reality. And sometimes it's going to make people mad. But after you get mad, I want you to review what we have said and see if we said anything false. Because even if it makes you mad, if it's true, accept it. Because if a lie makes you happy, at the end of the day, your happiness is not real. It's based on fiction.